Hello, and thank you for taking the time to watch our on-demand webinar session, End SMB IT Struggles with Improved Virtualization Capabilities. This webinar was produced by Aberdeen and is sponsored by HPE. Over the next 30 minutes, you'll be hearing from Jim Raposa, Research Director of the IT Practice at Aberdeen, and Megan Ziegler, Manager of Global Solution Offers and Services at HPE. They'll be talking about the challenges SMBs are facing with their IT infrastructures, as well as the steps they can take to improve their infrastructure and better leverage modern virtualization technologies. This webinar is pre-recorded, so if you have any questions, you can reach out for more information. Contact information will be provided at the conclusion of the webinar. It is now my pleasure to turn the webinar over to Jim Raposa.
Thanks, Bennett. And yeah, so as we've talked about, we're going to be looking at some of the struggles, in particular, that SMBs are having with virtualization today. How are they challenged to really be able to effectively leverage and take advantage of virtualization, especially given whatever limitations they might have in their current IT infrastructures. We're going to look at some of the key technologies and solutions and practices that we've seen leading small and mid-sized businesses take advantage of in order to have a much more effective transition, not just to virtualization, but to newer technologies like hybrid cloud. We're going to look at what leaders are doing, leaders among the SMB, what they're doing to really get the most out of their virtualization infrastructure, how they're getting better performance, how they're lowering costs, and how they're boosting reliability. And we'll offer some steps and recommendations that your businesses can take to become leaders and to really boost and improve your own IT infrastructure and really be better able to take advantage of today's virtualization technologies. If this is your first time in an Aberdeen webinar or you're not familiar with Aberdeen, we are a research firm, an analyst firm, but we're a little different from some that you may have dealt with. We're not out here to rank products or rank vendors. What we do is we talk to our community, we survey users like yourself to find out how you're using technology, to find out what your challenges and hurdles are that you're facing when it comes to technologies like virtualization, like the cloud. By taking that data, by using key metrics, we're able to figure out who's good, who are the leaders, who's the best at having high performance, best at having high reliability, scalability, getting great ROI. And once we've identified those leaders, we're able to see what are their characteristics, what are the capabilities they're leveraging, the strategies they're following, the best in class business practices that they're utilizing that make them these leaders. And once we've able to detect that, we can make recommendations, we can offer key steps to other businesses to become leaders. With the housekeeping portions out of the way, let's get into today's webinar. Sometimes it can feel weird to talk about virtualization now. I mean, it feels like such a core, base product of any IT infrastructure. Everybody is doing virtualization. Our research shows that 88% of all applications are virtualized. Since for over 10 years, probably virtualization has been one of the key tools in your toolbox when it comes to building an IT infrastructure. But as with any foundation, there can be cracks. There can be elements that aren't up to par, that aren't giving you that solid base, especially as organizations move to take advantage of new technologies, move to utilize private cloud, to take advantage of hybrid cloud capabilities, and even as they move to newer technologies like containers and microservices and Kubernetes, if they aren't building these applications, building these new services on a strong base, they're setting themselves up for failure. And this can be especially true for small to mid-sized businesses. When these organizations are looking to take advantage of private and hybrid cloud, they need that strong base. They need to know that the virtualization technologies that they're using, that the servers, that the infrastructure that they're basing that virtualization infrastructure on is strong, that it's stable, that it's ready to take advantage of these new technologies, that it understands how they work and how to best optimize these kind of capabilities. The part of what we did is we talked to our community, we talked to small, mid-sized businesses about what their top IT infrastructure challenges are. And, there's not a lot here that I think that would be really surprising. Number one, you see a lack of in-house expertise. Now, this has constantly been a challenge we've seen over the years, especially for SMBs, but it becomes even more of a barrier when you look at these newer technologies, when you look at the need to constantly be innovating, to be ready to take advantage of hybrid cloud, of microservices, of these other technologies that are giving other SMBs a competitive advantage. It's hard to stay on top of those technologies, even for businesses that are, already utilizing them because there's so much rapid change. At the same time, when you're dealing with this kind of complexity, when you're dealing with a lack of knowledge, you become more concerned about security. Businesses, this has been a challenge from the first time businesses moved applications to the cloud. They were concerned about security. Then good data came out and said, well, actually, you often are more secure if you've done that, but then there's concerns around compliance and other things. And these become even more challenging as you build hybrid, as you're integrating on-premise in the cloud and taking advantage of newer technologies. Businesses want to make sure they're doing that from a secure standpoint. Classically, businesses don't want to be underutilizing their resources. Sometimes they don't want to overutilize their resources. So that's always one of the top drivers to technologies like private cloud is to get better utilization, have better capacity capabilities. So we're seeing businesses challenged to do that. They're challenged by silos and disconnected tools. They make it hard to manage all of their different virtualization and cloud infrastructure, which obviously leads to complexity and just makes it harder for these businesses that are trying to take advantage of these technologies and trying to get the most out of their virtualization infrastructure. And Megan, I want to kick a question over to you. I mean, as someone who's regularly working with customers, who's regularly talking to SMBs, I'm just kind of curious, what are some of the challenges you've seen? What are some of the hurdles that these organizations have had to overcome?
Well, it is a fact. SMBs have limited IT expertise. Small business owners need more time for strategic business activities. They really need to focus on their core strengths. The key is having an ecosystem of experts with proven experience to guide them in purchase and deployment of simple, automated, high-performing IT that reduces the time spent managing and maintaining systems. And also, the SMBs have no time for downtime. In a digital world, continued business operation is fundamental to business success. SMBs need peace of mind that their business is secure, supported, and able to quickly resume normal operations after planned or unplanned events. With the sudden impact of COVID-19, many SMBs are struggling to support employees who need to work from home and stay safe. So here at HPE, we've been listening to small and medium-sized customers, working to understand their challenges and help them meet their goals. And what we found is that SMB customers have three main needs or goals around IT. The first is they aspire for fear-free IT. Customers are their business, not IT. They expect IT to work to help improve the business, not create fear about new technology. They need to grow revenue and the business, so they want advice on what they need and how to keep it up and running with minimal fuss. The second is they want worry-free, safe, and secure IT. Businesses don't have the luxury of downtime. They expect an IT vendor to provide a complete solution, one that is rock solid, reliable, protected from cyber threats, and has the technical support that they need without the hassle of guesswork. And the third is they want to be amazingly efficient with their IT. Getting the best return for the money spent on anything is vital. They need to know that everything is being fully utilized and not dragging the business down because it's outdated or inefficient. In fact, they'll pay the right price to have the best IT for their business, but they want to do it on their terms and prefer to pay only for what they use.
Yeah, Megan, those are all really great points. I talk to businesses all the time. They are really looking not just for things that will help them improve and reduce their concerns, but some of those last points, especially about only paying for what they need, making sure that they're getting the best ROI, getting the most out of their investments, is really key. We see that across a lot of the businesses we talk to as well. And obviously you brought up the current situations that we're all going through, and it's interesting that I've talked to some businesses, and they thought that as everybody moved away from the office, they'd have less problems and less issues, and they'd be dealing with remote workers. And it's actually really increased a lot of their challenges, especially from the application side. X amount of their demand used to be all inside the corporate network. Now so much of it is remote or over the VPN, and it's really increasing, adding a lot of new challenges and a lot of stressing some of these infrastructures that weren't designed for some of this demand.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, especially around, like you said, security and applications during this time of remote work.
Yeah. And So businesses, it's an interesting time we're in because, you know, a lot of the companies we talk to, they're not slowing down in their technology adoption. And in many cases, they're actually accelerating their adoption of new technology. Businesses need to be agile now. They need to be innovative. They need to know that what they're investing in and what they're utilizing is really delivering all the best capabilities for IT. So in this slide, what we did is we looked at, we talked to SMBs about where they're going to be investing in technology in the next 12 months, the technologies they plan to adopt. In many cases, they've already started piloting or are already using these technologies. So you see right at the top there, a huge push towards private cloud, and this makes so much sense. Private cloud is one of the core technologies of a lot of the things we're talking about. You can't have a hybrid cloud if you don't already have private cloud. You need that private and public to be working together, talking the same language. So seeing this huge investment in private cloud makes perfect sense, and it really gives, Megan talked about that ability to only pay for what you need, to have the right capacity and right scalability. Leveraging private cloud in your on-premise capabilities with strong virtualization infrastructures really helps businesses do those things. We see a lot of interest in moving to the software-defined data center and software-defined technologies in general, which is just bringing much more intelligence, much more agility to all areas of your IT infrastructure. Businesses are moving to the Internet of Things, and you're probably going to see this in new areas as things start to reopen, where businesses are talking about smart offices and things like that. So it's not just manufacturing and other areas of Internet of Things. You're going to see these smart devices kind of become more pervasive across all workplaces. We talked about hybrid cloud. You can't have private. You can't have hybrid without private. But obviously, hybrid cloud's been a huge driver that we've seen across all technology areas, not just in the SMB, mainly because it does allow businesses to get the most out of all of their technology investments. If you're utilizing hybrid cloud, it lets you have the best capabilities of public cloud while at the same time having all the best options and benefits that you get from private cloud and on-premise virtualization capabilities. I've been covering containers and microservices and Kubernetes for several years now. The growth in the adoption of this has been steadily, basically doubling almost every year. And a lot of the businesses we talk to are basically doing all of their greenfield development using containers and microservices. It is the way all applications are being designed going forward. And again, you really need to have that strong IT infrastructure in place to be able to take advantage of these technologies. We see things like hyperconverged, bringing all, which are designed almost like composable infrastructures to bring a lot of your compute capabilities together, storage, networking, server compute. And again, having that strong virtualized infrastructure is key to being able to leverage that. And of course, AI has been a huge driver across all areas of technology, and being introduced in areas that businesses weren't even expecting it, including IT management, including IT analytics and monitoring, and in optimization. One of the other drivers or areas that there was often a lag when it came to virtualization and the cloud is those critical, enterprise applications, ERP, CRM, the ones that basically you need to have operating for your business to operate. And we've seen that 71% of small and mid-sized businesses are virtualizing the applications that they consider to be mission critical. So in some ways, this is ahead of a lot of businesses. The SMB really recognizes how important it is that these technologies are able to scale, able to be flexible, able to be reliable, and also able to give them that kind of reliable capacity, pay for what they need. That's vital in these kind of applications, and that's why you see such a high number of the SMB moving to virtualize these applications, which also makes it easier for them to leverage private and hybrid cloud with these critical applications. And when we ask these SMBs and small and mid-sized businesses how they're currently deploying applications, it goes right along with some of the other data we've seen. So you see 60% of SMBs are deploying applications utilizing private cloud technology. Again, it really allows them to have all these key management capabilities they want, all of this capacity, security, better monitoring, better management, and that better ability to take that next step where we see 49% are utilizing hybrid cloud, which is also 49% utilizing public cloud. This makes perfect sense by being able to have the best capabilities of public, of on-prem and private cloud. These businesses are giving themselves more agility, more optimization capabilities, more security and resiliency by being able to run these key applications in hybrid and private environments. And we also see there's still a little bit of bare metal going out there, and I've actually seen some rise in that over our data as businesses are, in general, looking to take advantage of the best infrastructure options that are at their disposal. And Megan, I want to kick over to you one more time. I know we were talking about this, and I'm just curious how this goes along with some of the things you've seen from your customers and how they're deploying applications today.
Yes, HPE has spoken with private cloud providers around, what they're hearing, why private cloud. The first is for security and regulations. Customers may choose to go with their private cloud providers, and also for certain applications that may not be available from the public cloud, but made available through their private cloud providers. And that is why HPE solutions are cloud ready for either the public cloud, like Microsoft Azure, but also for the private cloud providers.
Yep. That makes sense. I mean, you want to have that flexibility. You want to have that, again, the ability to run things where they need to run. So that's really great information. Glad you guys are seeing that because that goes along with what we're seeing as well. Yeah, and when we look at these moves, look at these transformations that all businesses are taking, not just the SMB, we find that having the right kind of server virtualization environment, one that is designed for all these things we're talking about, that can make it easier for you to take advantage of hybrid cloud, make it more possible to leverage AI. Almost everything that you use to implement AI talks the language of the cloud and is better able to be integrated, better able to be used when your technology is virtual, is working with private cloud, is working with hybrid cloud. And we talked again about how microservices, containers, Kubernetes are really the way that applications are being developed today. So to do all this stuff, whether you're SMB or any business, but especially I think for the SMB, you really have to have a server infrastructure that is designed, that is optimized for these emerging technologies, for these modern types of applications. You really need to have something that's going to give you the best capability to get the most out of your resources. Something that does easily integrate with the public cloud, with hybrid cloud, and really something that's going to give you the ability to handle and get the most out of the different kinds of and variable workloads that you find in today's application environments. And Megan, I was going to send this back over to you. I know this, especially microservices, is a key area of interest of yours.
Yes, Jim, absolutely. We see microservices architecture as making applications much easier to expand and scale. And this is something that's very important to HPE. We in the SMB team are responsible for both SMB and mid-market, and we are looking at creating solutions around containers in the near future.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I said I've been covering this technology now for a few years, and it's become one of the main areas of focus for us. And like I said, I mean, this is the way applications are developed, and you really having a server environment, having a IT infrastructure that's designed for that is going to be critical for any business looking to move forward today. So, when we identified leaders across all areas, we looked at how they were working to optimize server virtualization and how this compared with businesses that aren't leaders and also with the SMB in general. It's interesting to look at this. Obviously the leaders are across the board. These are the best in class. These are the companies that are getting the most out of their investments in server virtualization. And we see them, taking advantage of areas we know are key to success when it comes to having great server virtualization. So, you see that the majority of leaders are taking advantage of servers that are optimized for virtualization. Again, 60% taking advantage of intelligent automated provisioning, 65% utilizing fault-tolerant capabilities in their servers, again, to have that high levels of reliability and business continuity. And 70%, I mean, a vast majority, leveraging intelligent workload management. The interesting thing here is, that the SMB is actually doing very well in some of these areas. They're not not on par with the leaders, but definitely ahead of the followers in most areas, except for virtualization optimized servers. And that's definitely an area of potential growth for the SMBs that really need to, if they want to get the most out of their investment in server virtualization, be able to be successful when it comes to private cloud and hybrid cloud and microservices, that'll really allow them to take advantage of to gain the key benefits of improved server virtualization and really join the leaders when it comes to getting the most out of these investments, having the best performance, having the best reliability, and just the greater agility and flexibility that comes with great server virtualization. So I mentioned the benefits. These are the top benefits that we've seen SMBs that implement server virtualization get. And not a lot of surprises in some of these, obviously. If you're effectively taking advantage of server virtualization, that should reduce your hardware requirements. We see that 76% are benefiting from lower hardware requirements. Of course, better disaster recovery. Having great virtualization really gives you that kind of flexibility to take advantage of all elements of good disaster recovery. So again, that's not a surprise to see that as a benefit. What's interesting to me is the better, faster application upgrades and installs. I think a lot of businesses miss that, but it is a key benefit of good virtualization. It is that flexibility, not just to build applications and utilize them where you need them, but to have that kind of ability to better integrate, to better use it in private cloud, in public cloud, and hybrid environments. We really see benefits to businesses that are doing this correctly, especially SMBs. No surprise, less downtime. Good virtualization allows you, again, to take advantage of a lot of the key business continuity and fault-tolerant capabilities. And, it's no-brainer, but with lower hardware requirements, less downtime, easier management, easier upgrades, easier installs, you're definitely going to lower your IT costs. And Megan, I want to send this back over to you, too. I know you've seen some of your clients gain some important and vital benefits by implementing better server virtualization. So just what if you could tell us a little bit about some of the things you've seen.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you're running a small business with remote or branch offices, you've got to make the most of everything, whether that means working through lunch or printing on both sides of the paper. You do what it takes to save time and money so you can put that savings back in the business. Virtualization lets SMBs allocate resources to applications as needed, so they can run multiple applications on a single server, which helps reduce costs while still managing the increasing number of workloads they rely on to run the business. HPE Small Business Solutions for Virtualization do exactly that. They help customers maximize performance and efficiently scale computing capacity. They are built on HPE ProLiant Gen 10 servers and optimized and validated to run Windows Server with Microsoft Hyper-V or VMware vSphere. So these virtualization solutions are sized by the number of virtual processors, as well as other hardware resources like memory and storage. These solutions can be operated as standalone solutions or combined with other servers in a resilient multi-node cluster configuration. Additionally, the HPE Shared Storage Solution for Virtualization enables multiple servers to share external storage, either as a standalone solution or a failover cluster. To learn more about these small business solutions, you can visit hpe.com.
Thanks, Megan. It's good to see how HPE is helping businesses take advantage of some of the technologies we've talked about. Adam, as I talked about at the beginning, one of the things we do when we identify leaders, when we look at the best in class, is look at some of the things that they're doing to become leaders. And when we look at the SMB and the leaders, the businesses that are getting the most out of their server virtualization, that are gaining those benefits we've talked about, that are being agile, being innovative, being able to make those technology transformations that we talked about, private cloud, hybrid cloud, microservices, we're able to identify some of the key steps and practices that they were following. One thing we've seen from these leaders is that they really put the work in to know what their technology needs are. When it comes to taking advantage of new technologies, whether it's hybrid cloud, private cloud, artificial intelligence, microservices, all these are changing the way businesses work, changing the way IT infrastructures are built. This is especially true in the SMB. It's really important to understand your current infrastructure, understand where it's working, understand where it isn't working, understand the type of workloads you're running, understand your compliance and security needs and privacy needs. The more work you do up front to really gain all that knowledge about your infrastructure is going to make it easier for you to grow, to innovate, to improve. And you know, part of that understanding is about understanding your server virtualization infrastructure. Really, once you know where you are, you'll know what you need to do to put in the right kind of server virtualization infrastructure. And we've seen that having a strong server foundation, one that's built and optimized for the key elements of on-premise, having great performance, but also understand the cloud, give you that kind of hybrid cloud integration that's key to growth and innovation today. Those businesses, when you put that work in to have the right kind of infrastructure, it's really going to allow you to get the most out of your investments in virtualization, in cloud, in private cloud, and these other technologies. The other thing is you want to make sure you're designing to succeed today, but you also have to build your infrastructure to be able to take advantage of what's coming down the pike tomorrow. And we've seen that small and mid-sized organizations that put in these kind of work, that utilize the right kind of server virtualization infrastructure, it really allows them to be ready to take advantage of these new technologies that are constantly coming down the pike. And it's not even just new technologies. Existing technologies keep changing. So the way the cloud works today is totally different than it did just a few years ago. When you look at the rise of microservices and Kubernetes, where the cloud has become something different than it was just a little while ago. Same is true of hybrid cloud, of on-premise. It's true of the impact of AI on management. So, businesses need to have an infrastructure that helps them, that reduces complexity, that brings down the IT challenges. And we've seen that when you have that kind of right server infrastructure in place, that lets you improve your virtualization capabilities, lets you take advantage of private cloud, it not just helps you innovate, but it helps you lower costs, improve reliability, and just gives you that leg up to improve and grow tomorrow and in the future. And before we wrap up too, Megan, I don't know if there's any your elevator pitch or words of wisdom you might give
Sure.
to someone who was taking these steps into improving their virtualization.
Sure. I think one of the key messages for virtualization solutions are that you can do more with less. You can grow your business by allocating resources to applications as needed. You can run multiple applications on a single server, and you can reduce costs while keeping up with an increasing number of applications and users.
Great. I mean, that's what we see in our data as well, so it's great to have that kind of validation. Hopefully we were able to help you understand more about server virtualization, especially for small and mid-sized businesses that are looking to innovate and improve, to be able to take advantage of new technologies like hybrid cloud, but also to improve your current infrastructure, to allow you to get the most out of your current investments, to be better able to grow and transform, and to better serve your users and your customers and your already challenged workforce today. By having this right kind of infrastructure in place, it really allows you to improve all areas of your business and become more optimized, more reliable, and just a more innovative organization. I want to thank Megan for joining us today.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Great conversation, and I want to thank everyone for joining us today.
That concludes our webinar session. I want to take a moment to thank Jim and Megan for sharing their research, insights, and recommendations with us, and thank you to HPE for making this webinar possible. We hope you found this information to be beneficial, and if you have any additional questions or would like to know more, you can reach out through the contact information you currently see up on your screen. Once again, thank you for watching our webinar, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.